few weeks ago, my wife saw a very sad news story about a family that was impacted by carbon monoxide poisoning in their sleep. She asked me, how's our carbon monoxide setup looking? And to be honest, it was the bare minimum. That conversation was a wake-up call. I realized that it was time to level up our CO preparedness. So I jumped on the opportunity to upgrade our setup, and since I've already been diving deep into power outage preparedness lately, this felt like a perfect time to connect the two. In this video, we're going to be diving into the topic of carbon monoxide detection, what it is, how to prep for it, and the upgrades I made that you might want to consider for your own home. Let's get started. Carbon monoxide detectors are designed to sense dangerous levels of carbon monoxide gas in the air. It's a colorless, odorless, and tasteless gas that can be fatal. When levels reach a certain threshold, the alarm sounds, giving you time to ventilate the space or evacuate before symptoms set in. Before upgrading our setup, we only had two, and both of them were combo smoke and CO detectors mounted on the ceiling. We've been using the Nest detectors for about a decade, and they worked well for us, but they're not ideal for carbon monoxide detection on their own. CO mixes fairly evenly in the air, but tends to linger at mid-levels, not at the ceiling. So that original setup wasn't covering us as well as it could have. My wife pointed that out after seeing the news story, and that's what really pushed us to make changes. A lot of people come to my channel looking for gear ideas, checklists, and strategies, but I also want to be transparent about my own process. This video is more about me holding myself accountable for a hole we found in our own setup. Prepping is never finished and is a constant journey. I'm always tweaking my preparedness planning, learning, and closing gaps for peace of mind. We now have 6 carbon monoxide detectors in our home. We have a main floor, an upstairs with the bedrooms, and a basement. So I have one in each of the main living areas of each floor, and I also have one in each of our bedrooms. Both kids have their own bedrooms, and my wife and I have a bedroom. For each upstairs bedroom and the downstairs, we're using the inexpensive Kidde carbon monoxide detectors. For the main floor living area and the upstairs hallway, we're using the First Alert CO615 carbon monoxide detector, which is one that plugs into the wall and includes a battery backup and, most importantly, a digital display for real-time readings. You could also press a button to see the peak CO reading over the past 24 hours. These ones are twice as much as the Kidde ones, but have a few more features. You could even extend the plug and have it plugged into an outlet that's near the floor and have the detector located a little bit higher. You'll see a lot of videos out there showing just one detector, but I thought it would be best to buy these in bulk and place them in strategic locations in the home, especially near sleeping areas. Having redundancy in this area is critical. Let's talk about placement and battery tips. So carbon monoxide is slightly lighter than air and mixes evenly in most rooms, but placement still matters. For my research, the general rule is install the detector at the height where you'll be breathing. The standard recommendation that I found is around 5 feet high, which is around 1.5 meters. They also recommended to try to place them where you could easily see readouts, especially on models with digital displays like the First Alert ones. You also want to avoid putting detectors directly near fireplaces or appliances where false alarms might occur. There's a lot of different types of detectors out there, but I didn't want to rely on plug-in only models. If the power goes out, they're basically useless. And that's exactly when carbon monoxide risk can spike. So I wanted to go with models that either had battery backup or were completely run by battery. The Kidde models are relatively affordable, which gives you room to invest in lithium batteries. Lithium batteries last longer, they won't leak, and they'll probably outlast the detector itself. CO detectors expire after about 7 years. You could usually find the manufacturer date on the back. So what I did is grab my trusty label maker and I added 7 years to the manufacturer date and then put a label on the CO detectors with the expiration date. In my case, these all expire in the year 2032. Most detectors will give you an end-of-life chirp, including these ones. But if you miss that or if the chirp fails, now you've got a clear visual reminder. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I like to test the products that I showcase on the channel. While I've seen others do similar tests on YouTube, I want to do it for myself. So now to show that these detectors actually work, let's do a quick real-world test. So as you can see, the Kidde gave a large, high-pitched chirp, and the First Alert gave a real-time reading on the digital display as well. It's good peace of mind knowing that these aren't just passive gadgets. They actually respond when carbon monoxide is present. And just for context, CO is measured in parts per million, or ppm. Here's a breakdown of carbon monoxide levels in parts per million and what they typically mean in terms of symptoms and detector response. These are all based off of the official safety guides from the CDC, OSHA, and detector manufacturers. So between 0 and 9 parts per million, that's normal background levels indoors. Between 10 and 29 parts per million, there's a slight concern for long-term exposure. Between 30 and 49 parts per million, you may get mild headaches and fatigue after 6 to 8 hours. Some of the fancier detectors will alarm after 1 to 4 hours at this reading. Between 50 and 99 parts per million is when you'll start experiencing headaches, nausea, and dizziness with longer exposure. Most detectors will alarm within 1 to 2 hours at this reading. At 100 to 199 parts per million, you'll get headaches in 2 to 3 hours with possible disorientation. At this reading, the alarm will go off much faster. From 200 to 399 parts per million, you'll experience headaches and nausea after 1 to 2 hours, and this will be life-threatening after 3 hours. These alarms should trigger within 10 to 40 minutes at this reading. And then anything above 400 parts per million is life-threatening in just a few hours. At this reading, the alarms are designed to trigger within 4 to 15 minutes. If you're exposed to high concentrations for long enough, it could be fatal, which is what happened with that family in the story that was mentioned at the beginning of this video. Carbon monoxide is especially dangerous during power outages when people run gas-powered generators, propane heaters, or even grills indoors, all of which could lead to CO buildup. So if you're using a generator like the ones that we discussed in the recent power outage preparedness video, keep it at least 20 feet away from your home and never near doors, windows, or vents. And here's something that a lot of people don't think about. Bring a CO detector when you travel. We're going to be heading out to Vegas in a couple months, and now I'm going to be bringing the First Alert CO615 packed in my travel gear. I'm going with this one because it has that digital display and a peak CO memory feature, so you could check to see if any CO was present while you were sleeping or out in the room. That's especially useful in hotels or vacation rentals. To be honest, I don't trust that their CO detectors are actually working in any hotel, so from now on, I'm bringing my own. Before traveling with your CO detector, make sure that you remove the batteries from packing it so it doesn't accidentally activate in your suitcase. So in closing, here's a summary of what I've done to improve our carbon monoxide preparedness. So now I'm putting CO detectors in multiple rooms, not just one on each floor. I'm upgrading the batteries to lithium batteries to avoid leaks, battery failures, and for longer life. I'm also labeling all of the detectors with expiration dates. Again, those lithium batteries will outlast the life of the detectors themselves. And then I'm going to be going into a regular cadence of testing them monthly. All of these type of detectors have some sort of test button that you could press. And as always, knowledge is the most important prep. So you have to know your risk with carbon monoxide, especially during power outages. The Kidde CO detectors cost less than $20, and the First Alert ones, which are a little nicer, cost around $40. But I thought it was a good investment overall, and I still had budget to upgrade the batteries to lithium. This topic ties into the overall topic of power outage preparedness, which I've been featuring lately. I'll include links to those videos at the end of this one, in which we go deeper into backup power, lighting, food safety, and more. I hope that you enjoyed this video featuring carbon monoxide preparedness. Please feel free to leave any kind of comments below in the comment section regarding this video and let me know what you do for carbon monoxide preparedness. There's a lot of different CO detectors out there, and maybe you have a recommendation for a specific brand that provides more advanced features than the ones that I featured in this video. In this video, I went for more commonly seen brands that you could pick up at Costco and went with ones that were cost effective to be able to get in bulk. Again, I no longer wanted to rely on a single detector for each floor. This is a topic where redundancy is key. Thanks again for watching, stay prepared, and I'll see you in the next emergency preparedness video. Take care.